Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I really appreciate you guys.
Edie has affected my confidence. My wife shared.
I was like, what is that? I had the YouTube video playing on the background. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Today is April 15th. It's tax day. Hope you filed your taxes or at least filed an extension. Transfer portal. I thought the transfer portal started today. It starts tomorrow. So one more day before the transfer portal. But there's already players that have been hitting the transfer portal. I saw there's a bunch of players that have hit the transfer portal from Miami and a bunch of other schools. So today on the show, we're going to kind of recap a little bit of yesterday. We'll hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer talk about the quarterback position. It's Ty's time. We know that Alabama doesn't have a game today. But as Ryan Grubb said yesterday, if they did have a game today, the quarterback would be Ty Simpson starting because he's earned it. And we love that. And we love the straight talk. So we'll kind of catapult on that a little bit. We'll talk about the running backs here at Alabama. And Ryan Grubb yesterday spoke about how he plans to utilize those running backs and kind of the depth of that room. As you know, if you know the Alabama running back room, we'll show some graphics on here talking about the running backs. It's a loaded group. I mean, so much so. You got a good mix of vets and some guys that are coming up in the pipes. And, of course, you got A.K. Deere on board. We'll also talk about LeBaron Philon in the NBA draft on the back end of the show. And two prospects have been forecasted, predicted, bombed, whatever, to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So that's on the show today. I appreciate you guys rocking with us. And yesterday it was a big news dump day. Even the softball team was doing their thing. Walk-off home run to beat number 2 Oklahoma. That was amazing. If you haven't been, if you're out there and you're kind of like, what now? Or if you're planning like in the future, two things that I would definitely recommend putting on your list to do in Tuscaloosa. Go to a men's or women's wheelchair basketball game. Adaptive Athletics. It's amazing. I haven't seen the women play yet, but the women just won the national championship. And then try to make it to a softball game if you can. Those games are so exciting. And, it's like you're right on the action. It's an easy place to check out. So those are the things that I recommend that you do. Let me give some shout outs this morning. I appreciate you guys being here, of course, on the show. Let's see where everybody's checking in from. Let me know where you're coming from inside the comment box. You might hear some audio real quick. I need to get to this second screen. Give me 1 second. Let me give some. All right. Let's make sure that everybody's checked in. All right. There's so much that goes on the show, and I do all the editing and stuff like that on the fly. So sometimes you run into some little things, but we just roll through it. We keep positive and we keep rocking with it. All right, so let's do some shout outs. I appreciate you guys. Herman, always with the perfect attendance. Let's get his comment up on the screen. I appreciate you rocking with us. Max Tooney, what's going on? Josh, what's up, man? You're at work. That's right, man. You got to put in the work. Alyssa, what's going on? Nick, good morning to you. Nick, Chris out in New Jersey, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Kimberly, good morning. I appreciate you always rocking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Let's see who else has checked in. Patrick, good morning to you. Herman, what's going on? Adam, good to see you, bro. What's your thoughts on the quarterback? Marcus, man, good to see you, bro. Todd, what's going on? Soli, Ryan, Ronald's coming to us from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That's what's up. Biloxi, all right, good to see you. Max Tooney's like, Chris is up there in the witness protection program. Todd saying if a quarterback leaves, it'll be Mac. Hey, no, don't be talking about that yet, Todd. And Bilo, what's up, man? Linden, Alabama. I appreciate you. I'd never even heard of Linden, Alabama. As I go forward, it's amazing to get to know, because I've lived here for 9 years now, almost a decade in Alabama. That's crazy. But all these towns that I've never even been to and where you guys are listening to, like Randall out in Athens, Alabama. It's good to see you, man. I love it. Whether you're in L.A., love me some L.A. I haven't been to L.A. in a long time. Too long. Bruce is up in Fort Wayne, Indiana? That's what's up. All right. Okay, let's begin. All right, so we start out with some comments, and we're gonna go. Yesterday, I played Ryan Grubb talking about Ty's time and the fact that he earned it during this point in time. I love it. Anything that you earn is great because you earned that on your own merit, things that you have worked for. And he didn't say this would have really pissed me off if he would have yesterday been like, hey, the reason that Ty is a starter is because he's been there the longest. No. That's entitlement. Like, you're entitled to nothing. He would be the starter today because he's earned it. Okay. So let's get to Coach Kalen DeBoer kind of stamping on that comment as well yesterday after Ryan Grubb spoke to the media. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday talking about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, Ryan just told us that if you guys played tomorrow, that Ty would be the guy at quarterback. What did he do this spring that made him, Ryan want to say something like that? And for you, where do you see that position right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of great things they've all done. Ty continues to I think move trend upward. I think all of them have really, added to their game. They're all at different spots because Keelan's learning the system. The other two know it better, for sure. And Ty, has been around and, just has done a nice job. I think the trending upward is a big piece of it. Ty's an accurate thrower. There's always going to be balls that every guy wants back, but I think the ability to learn from your mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, be able to comprehend things, not be overwhelmed to think that, he's just had more time. But, they're all doing a lot of really good things together as a group. But now I will say, we're not where we need to be at the quarterback position yet. And so, I feel like that exists within our team to have that level be accomplished. But, this is part of the process. I shared with our team, we're not where we need to be as a team. I hope we don't ever think that. It's never been that case everywhere I've been. Any year I've been a part of to where you finish spring ball in April and you're like, okay, we're good to go. People ask, are you ready for the season? No, I'm not. We got a lot of work to do between now and August, and that's the case, I think, with the quarterback position.
I like that quote. And one of the things that stands out from that soundbite is I agree. Like, look, when I was giving my observations right after this 8-day practice, and I get it, they didn't show a lot. There wasn't a lot of times where there was game situations where they let just the quarterbacks loose. Like, it was all controlled. But to me, it didn't look like a finished product. That's why I saw, like, Tyler Booker said that they look like they're in mid-season form. I love the guy, and he did a lot for Alabama, but I was like, they are not in mid-season form. This is a team that is further along in the tracks than they were a year ago at this point in time, but they don't seem like a team that is anywhere ready to play a game. So I think it's going to take time. And, man, nobody's ready right now to play a game, and they shouldn't be. It takes time to get there. So I didn't think like they look like a finished product at all. Now, back to Ty Simpson, look, what do we like about him as a quarterback? A lot of things. As I said yesterday, Melon Jesus, what's up, man? I appreciate you becoming a fan funder. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Live arm. He's an athlete. A lot of people forget that he can run. He probably has the most. Does he have the most athleticism out of the quarterbacks? Because Ty can move around. He has escapability. He can move around in the pocket. He's fast north and south. There's a difference between fast, like east and west and north and south. For example, like Bryce Young was really fast east to west, and he had a little bit of wheels kind of north to south. Jalen Milroe was more north to south, but he didn't have a lot of east and west, in my opinion, right? So Ty has a little bit of north and south and east and west. He can extend plays. The thing that we haven't seen with Ty Simpson yet is any deep ball, right? Like in game situations, I kind of think back to maybe the play that he had against Mercer, but everyone's going to be like, that play doesn't count because no, it counts. It was against Mercer. It was a hell of a play. There you go, Max Tooney, like a little bit of wiggle, right? And he's experienced. He's played. So they're not a finished product. I'd be scared if they were a finished product by now because the team that I saw, it's not. There was definitely great things from different positions, but they didn't look like a finished product, and I'm glad to hear Coach Kalen DeBoer say that. I appreciate you guys rocking with us this morning. Ways to support the show. We have the Venmo and the Cash App option, super chats. Hitting the thumbs up goes a long way. And if you guys aren't subscribed, be sure and subscribe every Monday through Friday. I'm live at 10 a.m. and then as news happens. So, look, I have no idea what's going to happen in the tomorrow with the transfer portal and all that stuff. But whether there's a transfer that comes in or a transfer that goes out, and I'm around, usually I'll pop up on my phone, or if I'm in my office, I'll come in and go live. So just kind of keep your head on the swivel, and if you're subscribed, you'll be quickly notified. But look, you're going to see the news out there. There's a lot of great YouTube channels or websites. So when major news is on, you know that I'm going to be live. That's just how we roll with it. I appreciate it. And you know what? Before we begin, I think that Army 3275, who's a subscriber and a member of Bama Football on YouTube, I think he was going through some tough times that he said yesterday. So prayers up to him, man. Army 3275, I don't see you in the chat this morning, but, I was thinking about you this morning, bro. So, hope you're off to a decent start, and, you can power through. You got the undefeated behind you. So, CD, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here, and, everybody else. All right, we go with another comment from Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about his young quarterback, Keelan Russell. The thing yesterday that was great about Ryan Grubb talking about Keelan Russell is said that he even exceeded his expectations. And I thought that stood out to me. So Ryan Grubb was like, look, he exceeded my expectations. And there was two things. That and the fact that he reminds him so much of Michael Penix Jr. That was kind of like lost in the shadows because that's a powerful quote. Yo, Michael Penix Jr. was a dog. Yo, like him throwing the ball, it was effortlessly. Like he had amazing downfield ability. So having him compared to somebody like that, who, by the way, the Falcons should have started him this season. I'm still questioning that movement. Adam is in with the super chat, man. Love it. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Let's see what Adam has to say. That avatar is hilarious. Kyle, Ty represents everything that is right about college football. Ooh, I love this. Nico represents everything that is wrong with college football. Oh, okay, so this is great. Okay, so as you know, Nico is looking for a home. I think he's the number one transfer portal guy, in terms of the transfer portal rankings or whatever. His dad seems to be behind the scenes kind of pushing all this. And I think Josh Pate said it best. He's like, look, the players aren't at fault for this. It's the people behind the players. 1,000,000%. Because look, do the players have egos? Yeah, for sure. But does mom and dad have egos? Do the agents have egos? And do they know that they can reach into this honey pot and just pull out money because of their player? 1,000,000%. And that's what is refreshing about somebody like Ty Simpson. What does Ty ask for? I don't know. We have no idea. I'm sure he's being taken care of, financially. But, the guy's just been kind of laser focused on his craft. And that's trying to be the best version of himself. As Milroe said, you always work on the controllables. And, you have other quarterbacks in the room that are really good. And now it's your turn. And do what Coach Ryan Grubb says and win the job based on your own merit. But, yeah, I think behind the scenes, college football is an absolute train wreck. King's Family Reacts. What's up, man? It's good to see you on Saturday, bro. Kyle, I'm watching Ty's highlights from Mercer. He avoided the sack, scrambled, quick plant through. That's what I'm talking about. That play was an incredible play. Remember, he ducked under, kind of chopped his feet, looked back, threw the ball downfield. Josh Cuevas went up, caught it. It was tight. So, yeah, that's what we love about Ty Simpson as well. But here's Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about Keelan Russell. And, look, Grubb said he's comparable to Michael Penix Jr. early in his career. He said that he'd like to have him, I guess, a little bit more, energized, but said that he's so chill and so focused. We want that from a quarterback. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer. Oh, I think this is going to be my lead-in. This is a good photo. This is credit University of Alabama. So here's your young quarterback. All right, let's get to the soundbite. Here he is on. Here is Coach Kalen DeBoer on Keelan Russell.
Kind of continuing to learn this offense, and what's kind of like that next step this summer that you want to see him take to kind of ahead of him?
I think consistency. You know, he had some really big days, and you saw a lot of flashes of what he is capable of, and then you saw some times where just consistency, and sometimes that just means not making the big mistakes. You know, and so. It's growth. It's learning. He's in it. His head's in it. He's the same guy every single day. That's what you love about him. And so, just consistency. And, he's going to be a guy that you can attack a defense. And I think all our quarterbacks have that ability with their arm to get after the opponent. And so, just consistent, I think, is the biggest thing for him, because consistency as a person, that is strong. Consistency is just the playmaking ability and the lack of mistakes. And, he's learning a lot of verbiage that's brand new for him. So even just spitting that out consistently is something he's grown a lot at. I sit and try to listen in the huddle and exactly not just what he's saying, but how they're saying it. And that's all the quarterbacks. And they've really grown a long ways in their ability to kind of, demand the huddle when they're in it.
That was a good quote right there, again, by Coach Kalen DeBoer. A couple things is talking about the consistency. There's one thing about being a consistent person, right? That comes with maturity. And I kind of go back to, the Coach Saban and what he said about freshmen that were able to get on the field early is they always had maturity, right? You talk about the great freshmen that have played here over the years. They have maturity. And to be that same person every single day says a lot about where he is from his mental. But the consistency, that makes sense. I mean, the guy just got here in March, right? A lot of these guys should be finished. Remember the old days where you would graduate in May? That doesn't exist anymore. Adam, with another super chat, I'll get you in just a second, bro. I appreciate you, Adam. Thank you so much, bro. But that consistency on the field, it's going to take time. Plus, think about the defense that he's going against. Maybe he's going against the second-team defense. Who gives a damn? It's Alabama, so iron sharpens iron. And, yes, when he came out, his first pass during this 8-day practice, it was intercepted by, guess who? Another freshman, right? So it's going to take time for him to develop, but the thing is, all these guys are making strides, and to hear comparisons early on in his young career to somebody like Michael Penix Jr., I think says a lot about where he's going. And it sounds like they just need to get him a little bit more consistent. But the other thing was, too, how many of you played football at any type of level, you ever gone in and read the play, right? Sometimes they rotate receivers and the receivers brings it in. This is before the headsets. And it's I don't know, ace right, 37 scissors, blah, blah, blah. How you say that means a lot to the offense, and it tells everybody where to line up. So even Coach Kalen DeBoer, listening to how the quarterback is demonstrating the calls and the actual plays to his offense, I like that. That was a good bite by Coach Kalen DeBoer. All right, Adam with the super chat. Another super chat. Appreciate it, bro. Adam's rolling today. I think Adam's clearly the MVP of the undefeated today, with the super chats. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Kyle, DeBoer seems more confident and is coming to his own this year. He is out of Saban's shadow and can run the program his way. This is going to make our team and our culture so much better. I have seen that, and I think that even going to LT Overton, who was a second-year player, was a transfer last year, now entering his second year, a lot of those guys who are transfers in, those guys, now, I guess, when you're 2 years within a program, you can consider yourself a vet. And those guys have said openly that they have more of a voice now. Parker Brailsford, right? Jeremy Bernard, LT Overton, Damani Jackson. These are all guys entering their second year that probably have a little bit more leadership within the room under Coach Kalen DeBoer. These are Coach Kalen DeBoer's guys. So, yeah, I have seen a lot more confidence. And I think a lot of it, too, comes from not only laying the tracks, having his entire staff back, and also the addition of Ryan Grubb. Having just the confidence. You know what it's like listening to Ryan Grubb, and we're going to listen to him again talking about the running backs in just a second. You can clearly see that Ryan Grubb is a head coach. It's like having two head football coaches right now. And look, you have Mo Lindquist, who is also a head football coach, and you have Kane Womack, who is also a head football coach at D1 level. So theoretically, you have 4 head coaches right now on the staff. Now, I would imagine that Ryan Grubb at some point in time is a college level coach whenever, he gets that opportunity down the road. But it's really nice to see that kind of that confidence. And I certainly agree. You can see that he's more comfortable in any way that anybody who took over for Coach Saban, it was going to be a bumpy ride. And I don't know. Taking over for Saban, I never thought I'd see it happen. And Coach Kalen DeBoer at least had the stones to stand up and do it. Okay. Coach Ryan Grubb, the OC, was talked about or was asked about the running back room, and specifically Daniel Hill. So Daniel Hill is 240 pounds. He's a beast, and he had a really good spring, as good as any other running backs. I currently have him as my third running back on the roster. I have Jam Miller, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Draylon Washington, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere. It's a healthy running back room. Could I see one of those running backs hitting the transfer portal? Possibly, to be honest, just because it's such a filled room. And while I feel that the running backs are going to get fed, I just think that a couple of those guys might dip their toe into the water. I don't know that for sure. That's just me saying that. But Coach Ryan Grubb was asked about how he plans to utilize the running backs. And let me ask you, and just something to chew on, do you think a running back hits the transfer portal? Maybe I'm wrong. Next year, if these guys just sit one more year, you have, Richard Young and Daniel Hill as your 1-2? That's a hell of a combo. Then A.K. Deere, Kevin Riley behind them. And then, Xavier Crowell was just predicted to join Alabama as well. Like, damn, that is a loaded running back room. Here's Ryan Grubb talking about the running backs. And I think this is interesting right here because he was really criticized. Ryan Grubb was criticized for not running the football enough with the Seahawks. I think it was the offensive line with the Seattle Seahawks that kind of wasn't up to par. They had some injuries because he ran the football. Anywhere that he's been, he's ran the football. So here's Ryan Grubb, the OC, talking about the running backs.
Foresee how spreading the ball out at that position, and is there an ideal number maybe that you kind of like at that, like in terms of carries?
Well, I think last year's squad would probably tell you 6 ain't enough. It's running back's a tough position, and that's a physical position to have to play every day. So I think the development of that spot, even when you feel really good about maybe your top 3 to 4 guys, you still know there's a opportunity for the 5th guy. And so I think developing the guys behind those top 3 or 4 is critical. I feel really happy to where we're at. I think obviously Jam is the elder statesman in the room and certainly has the most experience. And I thought it was really good for me to see Jam the last couple of scrimmages when we were live. It was the first time I'd seen him out there breaking tackles and, just kind of showcasing some of the things that he can do. He's an extremely bright player, understands pass protection very well. And then obviously Rich is a guy that's played some ball here as well. And different skill set, a little more of just the straight line physical runner. But I was surprised, honestly, when Coach G talked to me about Rich, how much, kind of pass protection was an issue as far as last year for him, just understanding schematically what was going on. I think Rich put in a lot of time and really improved himself as a pass protector because it surprised me, honestly, that, when he said that, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wow, I feel like Rich has done a good job of being dialed. And then Daniel Hill, I thought, was one of the guys that maybe stood out as much as anybody this spring. I thought he really did a nice job. Physical runner, very nimble for how big he is, can stick his foot in the ground and get vertical. Excellent pass catcher out of the backfield, showed a lot of toughness throughout spring. And I thought he really showed up quite a bit and improved as much as anybody out there.
All right, here's a look at the running back room. I'll talk about the running back rooms and kind of, give some commentary on what Ryan Grubb just said right there, at least what I think it means a little bit deeper. Hearing the comments about Jam Miller, we know who Jam Miller is. The great thing about college football is not the rest of the world still doesn't know about Jam Miller. It's been beautiful to watch because he's so talented, but nobody talks about Jam Miller. They didn't talk about him last year. They didn't talk about him the year before, and Jam Miller just keeps producing, right? That's great. You have such a hidden gem in the running back room in the world of college football outside of our little ecosystem. They don't know about him, right? That's great. He talked about Richard Young. That's interesting. I guess I'd have to go back and see. The grading source that we use is like Pro Football Focus, and I know people have different opinions about Pro Football Focus. I like the analytics that it gives us. I have to go back and see his pass blocking grade, and I guess it must not be where they wanted it to be. But it's good to hear that he worked on that craft because he's a big, imposing back and more north to south like Grubb said. You know what? I think he looks a little bit more nimble this year. And I'm talking about Richard Young. It looks like he had a little bit more chop to his feet in some of the clips that we saw. And look, he looked good during this 8-day practice. He got a couple carries. He hit Ja Latham, and Latham kind of fell back. So I like that combo. He talked about Daniel Hill, and I think the part that stood out for me is he's nimble for 240 pounds. Are you serious? Like, man, I haven't seen a lot of Daniel Hill myself. So they didn't really showcase a lot of that, but to hear the coaches, talking about a 240-pound running back, I don't know, is it me or I'm just getting excited hearing about a back that's nearly 250 pounds that is nimble? Nick, what's up, man? I appreciate the super, bro. Says, I firmly believe we are coming for the natty. I believe every year. I just have the feeling this season, too much talent, and I believe this team is a lock this time. Man, that's big. That's a lot. That's some high confidence level, especially when I think FanDuel, where they have Alabama winning like, nine and a half games or something like that. The schedule is a gauntlet. The schedule is such a gauntlet. I appreciate the super, bro. And I love the positivity and kind of the belief in the team. It does feel better at this point in time just knowing all the pieces and the components that you have coming back, right? Good Superman. I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. Good to see you, man. I love that hat you have on the avatar too. The one running back that impressed me too during this 8-day practice was this guy, Jalen Washington. And as Coach Brian Grubb said, he's like, look, you need more than just 3 running backs. It's a gauntlet of a season. We know this. If I was one of these running backs right now at this point in time, I wouldn't hit the transfer portal. I would just be patient and keep at it because if you look at the schedule, nicks, bumps, and bruises, they happen. And based on where these guys are in terms of, you're going to lose Jam Miller, you're going to lose Jalen Washington, right? So if you put your hand over these two guys, I mean, you have 4 running backs that are relatively young. And then maybe Xavier Crowell comes in as well. That still adds on to that running back room. We got Army 3275 up in the house. Let's see what he said, because I know he's going through a tough time yesterday, so I want to make sure and check on him. Kind of scrolling up on the comments. I must have missed the update. Maybe Army 32. Is Army 32? Oh, okay. Here we go. Prayers up for Army 3275, a longtime poster here. Really good person. He looks like he needs a little bit of uplifting today. Roll Tide roll, in the hospital, under the knife, could use the prayers. We got you, bro. And thoughts and prayers to you. And look, it's all planned out for you. So, we are pulling for you. Provide us an update as soon as you can, and we'll be thinking about you, okay? Army 3275, hang tough, bro. You got this, man. But the running back room is great. And look, I asked this with the quarterbacks yesterday in my evening segment. I gave the quarterbacks, and at the end of this week, I'll probably give a final assessment to each of the positions. I have the quarterbacks right now on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7.5, because of the lack of experience. With the running backs, let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, talent-wise, experience-wise, what would you give the running backs? I've asked this question before, and it's always really high. But are we close to giving like the running backs maybe like a 9.5? 9? I think they'd have to have like some really exceptional games to maybe get the 10 from me. But Jam Miller, we know what he can do. Under 700 yards last year. Jalen Washington, I'm telling you, the guy's good. No one's really talked about him yet. Carlos 5? Carlos, you better have hit a different button on your phone. Or if you're on your computer, you hit a different. Carlos came in. Carlos, you better explain why that's a 5. Samuel with the 9.5. Max is saying 9+. See, there's not 10s. I'm glad. I don't think it's a 10 group. I want to make them work for that 10. But I say 9. Ethan's saying 9.5. Chris is saying 8 to 5. Not like you work 8 to 5, but like 8.5. Rich B say 9. See? This is realistic. Carlos. Carlos is saying no production. Oh, Carlos. I think if I was to argue that about production, I think I would go back to Jam Miller, and I think I'd go back to him for the last 2 years. Jam Miller has been he's been productive, and I think one of the areas that he also flourishes in is he's pretty good in pass pro. I've seen him get lit up a couple times, but he can actually catch the football really well. Outside of that, I could see where you're coming from with lack of production, because not a lot of these guys have true experience. And if we're going by just what I said with Ty Simpson, like Jam Miller has played a lot more than Ty Simpson, way more. So, but Draylon Washington has experience, and Richard Young has a little bit of experience. But I could see from the experience standpoint, I can see where you're coming from. But I think it's better than a 5 for sure. I'm kind of like, I think I said a 9. Coach Kalen DeBoer followed up on that comment, speaking about Daniel Hill specifically. Here's that clip of Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about his running back, Daniel Hill.
Ryan Grubb just told us that Daniel Hill stood out as much as anyone this spring. Just kind of what did you see from him in that running back room?
Yeah, I was really excited to see Daniel. He last fall, and still even this spring a little bit hampered a little bit with just some tweaks and injuries and stuff. And, he'll end up being a really good one for us. We know that. And I felt like there was just enough that you did see last fall where he's got those just those instinctual things and running and cutting and things you expect out of a tailback, but just some subtle things that a 240, 245-pound guy doesn't do as easy as he does. And then even catching the ball out of the backfield, just natural that way. He had some runs when we were in live sessions where, whether he was bouncing off of them, I think it was more of them bouncing off of him. That was really exciting to see. And he's really developing a mindset and trust and belief in himself, and that's carried on through the rest of the team. So he had a really good spring for sure.
Did he just say that Daniel Hill was close to 245 pounds? That's amazing. Okay, I need to switch my scenes real quick. So I need to ask you this while I do a quick housekeeping change. I didn't know I had that. Who's the biggest running back that Alabama's had?
Yep.
Like the heaviest. Seriously, let's just go over the last, I don't know, 12, 15 seasons or something like that. Who's the biggest running back? Like how much did Eddie Lacy weigh? Bo Scarborough, those are
no questions on the quarterbacks.
those are bigger. That was Ryan Grubb yesterday. Those are bigger running backs. So let's see what you guys got. Oh, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, Eddie Lacy. But was Derrick Henry literally did he weigh 240 when he was here? Robbie Oots was 275. Okay, this is good. So Derrick Henry, great at. Let's now look. I'm curious about that. Let's see. Can Derrick Henry playing weight at Alabama? Oh wow, this is interesting. It says Derrick Henry played running back for Alabama and was listed at 6'3", 242. While at Alabama, his weight was reported 242 pounds, but he later stated that he was surprised to weigh 247 pounds at the NFL Combine. Dang. Whoa, that's crazy. 6'3", 247 at the NFL Combine? Whoa, and I guess 242. That is crazy, man. Whoa. Let's just see what Eddie Lacy weighed. Eddie Lacy weight at Alabama. Oh my God, 253 pounds. Jeez. Whoa, that's wild. Let's see. But was that what he was playing at Alabama? That's crazy. I don't know. I have to go back and I guess. Yeah, I guess it's saying that Eddie Lacy was 250. I didn't know he was 250. Jeez. Oh my goodness. All right, so Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, we know those names. Daniel Hill, who's entering his second year here at Bama, is 245 pounds. Let's just say, Coach Kalen DeBoer just said 245 pounds, and he's nimble. Wow, that's wild. I didn't realize he was, almost 250 pounds. So you guys saw this yesterday. This is the On3 interface. They do an amazing job. There's a lot of people who do such a great job recruiting, whether it's On3, Andrew Bone, or the guys at 247 Bama, or the guys at Rivals, whoever you roll with. Touchdown Alabama, there's a million of them. Xavier Corral was Fong-bombed. So Steve Whitfong, I guess he's like the biggest, most known name in the recruiting industry. And he has predicted Xavier Corral to commit to Alabama. Somebody said inside the comment box that he's committing on December 31st. So a lot can change from that point in time. The thing I like about it, and kind of when I started to look at Xavier Corral and, possibly committing to Alabama, is the fact that I think the last, 11 months we've been saying, hey, where are the in-state prospects? When are you going to get the in-state prospects? And as you'll see as we go forward from here, a lot of in-state prospects are, giving Coach Kalen DeBoer and Courtney Morgan the nod. Xavier Corral, this guy, who has seen this guy's highlight tapes? I've showed his highlight tapes here before. So he was supposed to be in 2027. He reclassified, which is like such a common thing now, and he's in 2026. So he'll be entering his final year of high school now, and he's ferocious. Speed, power, size. He's at 200 pounds right now. I would list him as an all-purpose type back. I think he'll probably be one of the better backs in the entire country when it's all said and done. So if he commits to Alabama, and I don't know if he's going to wait till December 31st, but let's say it's like part of the summer deal, this will be a slam dunk. I know sometimes we're like, oh my God, it's the greatest commitment. No. Like, he's the real deal. This is a hell of a running back. And if Jam's gone, Traylon Washington's gone, think about next year. Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere, Xavier Corral. And then probably, I would imagine maybe they take another transfer running back or however it works. But this dude, I'm telling you, this guy is the real deal. And then another prospect that has been predicted to commit to Alabama, Sedarian Morgan, right, out of Alexander City. 6'4". So here you go. You got the two in-state guys recently predicted to come to Alabama. On top of that, you just had Kamarion Johnson down here out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama, just commit to the Crimson Tide. So now, and I'll go full screen on this, and we're using On3's interface. Use whatever recruiting service you like. But Jordan Edmonds, where's he from? Georgia. And this is one of the biggest questions, is could Coach Kalen DeBoer recruit the Southeast? Well, Courtney Morgan and him are doing it right now. Jordan Edmonds, Georgia. Zion Gibson, Alabama. Jamari Matthews, Georgia. Chris Booker, Georgia. Right? Kamarion Johnson down at the bottom, Alabama. Xavier Corral, Alabama. Sedarian Morgan, Alabama. So, hey, Patriot Life. What's up, Patriot Life? I didn't even see you here today. Good to see you, bro. Patriot Life, man. How's the mom? Can we get it? How's your mom doing? Patriot Life's, he couldn't come to A-Day because he's taking care of his mom. Good to see you, Patriot Life. Can we just get a thumbs up, Patriot Life? Your mom's doing okay? Appreciate you, bro. Chris Waltman, what's up, bro? Good to see you coming in from Florida. Appreciate it, man. You stay relentless. Hey, Antoine, what's up? I didn't even see you up in the house. Antoine saying Sedarian Morgan is like a Moss-type wide receiver. Yeah, 6'4". And that's the other thing that stood out to me, too, about some of the wide receivers that Coach Kalen DeBoer has been bringing in, or at least been targeting. He's been targeting some taller wide receivers, which I am a huge fan of. I'm not going to lie. I gave a game ball to him yesterday. Derek Meadows, yeah. I want a really tall wide receiver out on the outside boundary. I want a, shifty type. That's how I always kind of saw the wide receivers to begin with. Because there's not a lot of tall corners unless you're Alabama and you have Deshaun Lee, who's real nice. So I think that shows us Coach Kalen DeBoer is, doing a much better job in the Southeast this year. But Courtney Morgan said, look, we're going to recruit guys that make sense for our program. There's not a specific area. I mean, they still need to go to California. They'll do that. They went up to Ohio last year and were able to grab Justin Hill, which is still crazy to me. How about this? So Tim Keenan keeping the tradition alive of eating steaks after A-Day practice. A couple years ago, Coach Saban would have the teams play, and the winning team got tomahawks, and the losing team ate beans and weenies. Tim Keenan took the defensive line out to Big Mike's in Moundville. I said yesterday in my evening segment, I haven't been to Big Mike's in Moundville, but I'm going to definitely check it out. I've been to like Nick's in the Sticks. I've been to all kind of like the staples like in this area, but I didn't even know that this place existed. So Tim Keenan took the linemen out. They're eating it up at Big Mike's in Moundville. Has anyone been to Big Mike's? Raise your hand inside the comment box. I'm going to go check it out. I'm gonna drive down past Hillcrest, keep rolling. Chris from New Jersey, have I ever been to Perry's? No, I haven't been to Perry's. I don't even know what that is. Adam is saying Nick in the Sticks is good. Yeah, and it's more kind of like of the experience going to Nick in the Sticks, right? It's hard to get in there. There's a lot of people. But yeah, I went and I had the catfish or whatever. All right, so good to see Tim Keenan kicking it with his teammates. All right, LeBaron Philon declared for the NBA draft. Not shocked to see this. I think all the team reporters felt that Philon was going to go to the NBA. Does it hurt the backcourt? Well, I mean, we already knew that he was going to leave. So I think when you look to Alabama's basketball team and you see who they do have coming back, I feel that the team should be able to still have a really good backcourt. And I say that because, let me get this screen. Because you just added, Bethea, who's a taller guard. You still have Holloway. You have Wrightsell, Houston Mallett, right? So you're going to have those guys coming back to fulfill that backcourt. In the additions of Noah Williamson, Taylor Bowen. So the talent's still there. Philon's a baller. The guy's 1,000,000% a baller, and I'm not surprised to see him bounce out. I was kind of wondering. I was a little bit hopeful that he might stay, but nah, he's moving on to the NBA draft, and we'll see where he ends up. But Bethea looks dope. He looks like a really good guard. And Holloway, it's gonna look. There's no way to just kind of move past somebody like Mark Sears, but Holloway's pretty damn good. Mel and Jesus wants Tim Keenan at running back 1. So you know what? That means that Alabama's probably. I bet you they go for a guard in the transfer portal. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of the news and notes for today. As we track A-Day, and I think what I'm going to do throughout this week is today we kind of we hit on the running backs, and we talked about Daniel Hill and how we hope that Ryan Grubb utilizes the running back room. Tomorrow we'll move to wide receivers and tight ends, and we'll do the same thing. We'll play the clips, and we'll kind of work our way down to the defensive side. So later on in the back end, we'll start talking about the defense and start to highlight Kane Womack and some of his comments. And then we'll cover live news as it happens regarding the transfer portal. So the transfer portal, I thought it started today. It starts tomorrow, April 16th. I think it was Byron, my boy inside the comment box, who reminded me. So the transfer portal opens tomorrow. As news happens, I'll be on live, whether that's, from my phone, out running around with the kids, or if I'm hopefully posted up in my office. But news happens. It's crazy. Being in the content world, man, news just happens. So, oh, yeah, and Coach Kalen DeBoer said the grass isn't always greener. Yeah, 100% right. Hey, I appreciate the super chats. Thank you so much. You guys hooked me up today. I really appreciate it. Other ways to support the show, Bama YouTube on Venmo. There's a Cash App. The thumbs up help a tremendous amount. I'm a content creator, and I am so grateful to be able to be on this platform talking Alabama football, a little bit of basketball, and news as it happens. Before you go, I also have I started out a men's devotional channel. This is something that's basically a work in progress. And, I felt that I needed to tighten up in that aspect of my life. I guess it's for subscribers only. But I'll put the link inside the comment box before I dip out. It's basically just I'm trying to tighten up my game in the spiritual aspect and just doing a daily devotional. This is the book I'm working off of. It's called Daily Wisdom for Men, and just go over some passages, short and sweet, and trying to just tighten up in that area. All right. Have a blessed day. Stay where your feet are at. Armory 3275. Prayers up for you, man. We'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers, and we'll check on you tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. As news happens, come back, kick it with us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. It's Tuesday, April 5th.